You're listening to Health Coach Conversations, a podcast where our conversations help health coaches all around the world to level up our businesses and to get more clients. Hello and welcome. I am Cathy Sykora, founder of the Health Coach Group and host of Health Coach Conversations. I am here today with Dr. Lynn. She's a naturopath, yoga nutrition therapist, fitness professional, karma master, published author, international speaker, and video producer with over 40 years experience in the field of natural health and fitness. She's been featured in Redbook, Reader's Digest, Huffington Post, Shape, Self, and various other national publications, TV networks, and podcasts. She is the author and producer of the Soul Walking series, Karma, Prosperity, Vitality, and the Naturopathic Wellness series, the Yoga of Nutrition and the Recipes for Health, Sex, Happiness, and Love, and Dr. Lynn's Proactive Aging Workouts, DVDs, and TV with international distribution. CEC author, Burnout, It Happens to All of Us, weekly online Zoom classes and therapy classes at SMH. You can find her at drlynn.com. Today's topic will be holistic health, karma yoga. First of all, you're a naturopath. Did that come before the other things, or did you move into naturopathy later?
The very first thing that I started was when I was in undergraduate school. I had to take this, what they call them, gut courses. And it was all about fitness. That's what it was. It was kind of like this nutritional class. And it was, nobody was taking it, but it was a good class to take. And it was very interesting to me. And I ended up we had to do different exercise things. And two of the things I had to do was this thing that was just a fad. It wasn't going to last. It's called aerobic dance. Ha, ha, ha. And then there's this really weird thing over here called yoga, if you want to try that. So I ended up, that's how I really got started in the health and fitness field. I loved both of those. I'm a dancer. I had been a dancer my whole life. So they just fit perfectly into what I was doing. And that's what kind of got me started.
Okay. So it kind of evolved. So what is holistic health?
Well, holistic health is exactly holistic. It means that if we really want to be healthy, we have to be healthy in the body, the mind, and the soul. And according to naturopathy and also karma yoga therapy, we are a three-part being. We are body, mind, and soul. And when there is a malfunction or something that's not going right in one, it's going to affect the other two. So holistic means to bring everything, the whole being together.
So you're not just working on feet or arms, you're working on everything.
Everything. You work the entire body, you work the mind, and you work the soul.
And then do you work with weight too? How do you work to manage weight?
Yeah, earlier in my practice, I had a lot of, that's usually why people would come to me. They usually had some I dealt with a lot of eating disorders. Also, people were coming and looking for that magic bullet of, I want to drop 30 pounds and you're a naturopath and nothing else is working. So you must have, a bag of tricks somewhere. And I would sit down with people and say, no, it's a lifestyle. And it's not so much about looking at the numbers on the scale as it is looking at your overall health. And when you start to focus on your overall health, the pounds do start to disappear.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Because, we're all looking, and we see it today with all of these, the new drugs and everything that everyone's using they're using something to get there quickly. But what happens when you stop? The old habits haven't changed. So it's really changing your mindset and your lifestyle.
What is the yoga of healthy nutrition?
Yoga has a whole part to it that tells us that we should pay attention to what we put in our body and how we eat. It's all a matter of being able to sit and eating your food properly and making sure that you're putting the right nutrition in. So what yoga says is that, you have this wonderful temple called your body, take care of it. feed it healthy things. So that's that's the philosophy of the yoga of healthy eating.
Okay. And so you don't really recommend all meat or all carbohydrates or any kind of balance or calorie. It's paying attention to what you put into your body and how it makes you feel, right?
Right. Well, I mean, when people usually ask me, I usually say the diet that I say is probably the best is the Mediterranean diet, because the
Mhm.
Mediterranean diet is something that everyone can eat, and it has a limited, it doesn't have a lot of meat in it, but it does have meat for someone who wants to eat meat. We have to realize that all our bodies are different.
Mhm.
And sometimes some people need a little more of something else, or they need to balance it out. We're all individuals. And so we try, very hard, to just one size fits all out there, but that's not true. And I think that's kind of part of the problem with modern medicine is, when we get a prescription, it's one size fits all. And what might be right for you might not be right for me.
That's right. How does karma affect our health?
Well, karma is cause and effect. That's what karma means. So if I don't eat a healthy diet, I'm going to be feeling bad and my immune system is going to be down. So karma really is all about whatever you want the effect to be. There's no judgment there. But I really want the effect of my life to be healthy and I want to be energetic. I have grandchildren. I like to play with them. I like to travel. So I need to go back and say, well, what is the cause? What is going to cause me to have that? And it is good nutrition. It's taking care of your health.
Can we slow the aging process? There's tons out there right now. It seems like that's the big thing is that, and I've talked to a lot of people, you can live to 140. Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
most people aren't going to feel good to 140, but how can we slow the aging process a little bit so that we can feel better longer, right?
Right. Well, it's really about quality of life as opposed to quantity. I mean, I wouldn't want to live to be 140 and spend 40 years in a wheelchair drooling. I mean, that wouldn't
Right.
appeal to me at all. So again, we cannot, aging is a natural part of life. Everything ages, and there's no such thing as anti-aging. From the moment you're born, you start aging. That
Right.
is life. But there are lifestyle factors that we can feed in. Now, we also know there's a genetic component in there. So let's say somebody has a propensity towards heart issues, then it's really important that they deal with that through nutrition and exercise because they can either make it worse or they can make it better. So really it's all about quality of life. And if you're following the three pillars of health, which is diet, exercise, and proper sleep. That's the best three things you could do to slow it down a little bit.
Make it more comfortable.
Right.
We already talked about karma. Tell me how you work with most of our listeners are health coaches, naturopaths, dietitians, doctors, nurses. Can you tell us some ways that you would suggest working with lifestyle management for these people to help their patients or customers? What works
Um,
for you?
Yeah, when I always take an individual approach to everybody. So when clients would come to me, we would sit down and we would do an assessment. And the assessment was not like, well, what's your goal and how much do you weigh? And we do have to put those things in there. But I would dig a little deeper into who they were and what was going on into their life, because there's always a backstory somewhere. And oftentimes that backstory, if you can bring it to the front and deal with it, helps you to be able to deal with the losing weight and getting yourself back in shape and stuff like that. So it's really more awareness and bringing that your clients' awareness to the forefront of where they're really coming from. And you'd be surprised some of the stuff that would come out, and I would be like, wow, no wonder this person is dealing with all this stuff.
Turn your expertise into a thriving practice with the Health Coach Group. We provide the support and resources you need to succeed. Your passion, our expertise. Together, we can make a difference. Visit thehealthcoachgroup.com today.
How important is yoga? Do you think, like, I know a lot of people who don't do yoga. I know a lot of people that do, and it seems like the people that do yoga are calmer
Mhm.
and they seem like they have gentle spirits. I know that sounds funny, but
No, no, no. It's absolutely true because the philosophy of yoga is, do no harm. That's the basis of yoga. Do no harm to yourself, do no harm to the world, do no harm to others. But of course, there's a lot, you have to look at that and give it a broader context because you also have to do what is the greatest good for the greatest many.
Mhm.
So sometimes we can get into a conflict there. But you are right. Most people who come to and practice yoga, they come to yoga because that's what they're seeking. They're seeking that balance, they're seeking that calmness in their life. And they realize that, as I always tell my students, it's a chaotic world and it's never going to change. There's been war since the beginning. There'll always be war. There'll always be famine. There'll always be stress. Now, what do you want to do with it? And if you come to class, you're trying to find that peace amongst the chaos.
So if we have doctors and nurses and practitioners or coaches who are working with people and they don't specialize in yoga, do you recommend that they make like a partnership with somebody like you that works with yoga and sends their people to you for that aspect of their wellness?
Yeah, because we're not, we can't all do everything. And
Right.
there are times when, I certainly wouldn't, if someone comes to me, and I've had people come to me who have certain issues, and I know that they need to go to a physical therapist, or know they need to go to their primary physician, and I will send them to them. So yes, it is a good idea to partner up with people because should have, and it's like, that's the Hippocratic oath, and do no harm. We should have the patient client's best interests. That's what it's about. That's what true health is about.
And then how do you get into yoga? You say you've got it. I just saw in your notes you've got
Mhm.
a free yoga class.
Yeah.
So do you do that online?
I do. I have the yoga class online. It's on Saturday. It is at 1 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock Pacific time. And for anyone who says, "Hey, I've never tried yoga," or "I've never met you, I'd like to try your class," I invite them to come and take a free class, and so that anybody can take it online. Yeah.
Yeah, I know in our area we have yoga like on the water, on the beach, and different places that it's fun and peaceful. Um, if they do it with you online, can they do it from their own home?
Mhm. Yes, we go
Yeah.
right into Zoom, just like you and I are doing, and, it's live over Zoom, and, a lot of my students really enjoy it because they can just, I mean, they can turn the camera off, and some of them will say, "I'm still in my pajamas." "Okay, we can do yoga." So, yeah, it's a great way to be able to do yoga.
And yoga, it helps with stress and it helps with it's stretching, doesn't it? Does it help?
Yes, yoga is really yoga is about balance, about bringing balance to your life. But it also, to do that, requires that we have flexibility, body, mind, and soul. We develop strength, body, mind, and soul, and we find peace. So that's really the integration of yoga. If you take it just on a physical level, we all need to work on our balance, flexibility, and strength. There isn't a person out there that doesn't. In fact, studies show that from the age of about 30 onward, we start to lose our sense of balance, flexibility, and strength. 30. So it's
Yeah.
important to keep working those things.
Yeah, I confess I don't do yoga. I tried it in the middle of a work day, which is a really bad idea
Uh-huh.
because I get phone calls on the way to yoga and then I stress out about what happened on the phone call all through yoga. But you know what? I had been doing strength training, so it was easier for me, I think. There's a lot more muscle in there than what you realize. You think it's all stretching and everything, but there's really a lot of strength in yoga, isn't there?
There's a lot because you're using your body as weight bearing, and those muscles need to be strong. But one of the things about exercise that's really key is to find the thing that really works for you and you enjoy. That's the first thing, because you'll keep doing it. And the second, to find a teacher that you enjoy, because I can tell you that even if maybe you don't like the class so much, but you love the teacher, you'll come to the class. And that's the idea, is to find what works for you.
I might sign up for your free yoga class.
I'd love to have you.
You know what? The older you get, that's the more doctors say that's the most important thing you can do. The more, strength training is important, and walking is important, and maybe running is important, but stretching, and then also finding a way to de-stress. So I think yoga would be a perfect thing to do.
It is. I teach at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. I do teaching there and some lecturing there. And I've been teaching lately some chair yoga for seniors. And these are
I
people.
bet that's fun.
It really, I love the class because you go in, they're so appreciative, and they're all in chairs. And these are people that are in their 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming to the class, and they're moving, and you're helping them with their circulation and small movements that really can make a big difference in them just going back home and being able to do things in their house. That's
Without
what's really
hurting.
important. Yeah, really important. Yeah. And I love it because when you see people that are in their 80s that'll get in their car or get someone to drive them to come and take a class, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Mm.
Yeah, I bet they appreciate you there, don't they?
They do.
Well, do you have any suggestions for someone that wants to get started with yoga?
Again, I would find someone that really has been around for a while doing it, because that person has probably seen a lot of things and obviously is probably well qualified. And that's one thing you should look for. Are they certified, education? Because you don't want to go take a yoga class from someone who is not certified. They're teaching a calisthenic class, and you could get hurt. So the best thing to do is to look for somebody who has, those credentials, and find someone who has a gentle yoga class. Don't jump into, 20-something class where they're, doing headstands. That's not going to work.
I did that. You know what? I took my granddaughter, who was, she had to have been 5 or 6 years old, to yoga classes at the Y, and then they had a day that you could do it with them, and that's not so easy doing it with the kids.
Exactly. I know what you mean.
Okay, so if we were going to sign up for your free yoga class, should we have like a yoga mat? What should we have ready to go?
Yeah. You'd need just a yoga mat. That's it. You don't need blocks. You don't need anything else. If you like to use blocks, then you can have them. Sometimes if we do a triangle, sometimes people will use a block because they can't get all the way down. But I show a modification for everything so that you really don't need to use that. And it's really my class is geared towards anyone can come in and take the class. Anyone, because it's not that difficult, but it will challenge you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here with me today. We've learned a lot.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me, and maybe sometime we'll meet somewhere here in Florida. You never know.
Yes, I will get over to the Sarasota side occasionally.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, it was a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to seeing this online.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the show. If you liked what you heard, please give us a 5-star rating or review on iTunes.